going on with our insurance, so keep everything crossed. Good news is that we already know it's staying with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Bad news is bad news is we know the price is going up per month, which already sucks because we were already paying like over $800 or more a month for our insurance. But we still don't know if the coverage for GLP-1s is within our plan, so we get to find everything out today. I'm waiting for a call from my husband so we can like sit down with the insurance lady and figure all this out. Anyways, in other news, I wanted to update you guys a little bit. Also, if anybody is not interested in hearing things about womanhood and cycles and periods and all of that jazz, then click off to the next video. But this is like a really big non-scale victory for me, and also I've told you guys everything there is to possibly know about how my cycles have been since I got off birth control in January, and my process of trying to regulate them as somebody who has PCOS and everything. So I figured I'd give you guys a little bit of an update because the last 2 months some cool things have been happening. So I don't remember if I shared on here or not, but I started testing for ovulation last month, I think beginning of November, end of October, just because, you know, I've had my period really consistently. I mean, I've had it consistently since January. I've had a period every single month since January, but if you guys remember, also I went too long before getting a fill, and now my fingers are falling apart. Anyways, I've had a period consistently every single month since January. Some of them lasted 90 days. Some of them were extremely heavy. Some of them I was having the pain and going to the doctors for and all of that stuff. So I wouldn't say they were regular by any means, but consistency wise, I've bled every single month this year so far. Now, I would say, let's see, we're in December, so I would say probably since at least maybe August. I would say maybe August. I've had consistent periods where they aren't too heavy. They don't last too long. They go around the same time and they come around the same time. So I'd say anywhere between like 6 to 4 months, I feel like they finally have like fully regulated out. Like, I can trust my app when it's saying, hey, this is around the time your period's supposed to be coming. My app has usually been a few days ahead of when my period actually comes, but oh my gosh, genuinely, am I having a stroke? You know what I'm trying to say. They have pretty much come around the same time as what the app is saying, give or take a few days. So last month, November, I decided to start tracking using ovulation strips. Now, I did this beginning of the year, didn't fully do it the correct way, didn't get any positives, you know, was really kind of upset about it, because I was like, oh, now I'm bleeding and I don't even ovulate, because if you didn't know that is possible. You can bleed without actually dropping an egg. And disclaimer, just because you get a positive LH strip does not actually mean that you are ovulating. So LH is the hormone that your body produces right before you're about to release an egg, the luteinizing hormone. And just because you get a positive LH strip does not mean and does not guarantee that you are actually going to ovulate. Now, usually when you get a positive LH strip, which means that both lines on the test are equally as dark, or your test line is darker than your control line, that means you have a positive LH ovulation strip. Within 24 to 36 hours, I believe, either 36 or 34, I can't remember, I believe 36, is when you are supposed to drop your egg and ovulate. Again, just because you get that strip does not guarantee that that is happening. It just means that you are producing enough of that hormone to tell your body, hey, time to drop this egg. Whether or not your body does it or not is very hard to know unless you get a blood test showing the levels of your hormones and everything. Anyways, I always have gone off of, well, this is when I'm supposed to ovulate according to science, like according to what, you know, a 28-day cycle, like I'm supposed to ovulate between days like 14 and whatever, and like I would never find myself having symptoms. Again, here's your warning to, if you don't want to hear about this stuff, to kick it, because symptoms are usually like mucousy discharge, almost like an egg white consistency. Some people get very like lovey-dovey around ovulation time. Their sex drive increases. They feel like beautiful, like around ovulation time is kind of when you feel the best about yourself, because that's when you want to mate to make a baby. And I just felt like within that window, I never have felt any of those things. I never had the consistency of my discharge and mucousy, egg white, like nothing. And so I got really bummed, because I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm just not ovulating. And then a few months ago, I noticed, okay, well, I am seeing these signs, but like that doesn't make sense, because it's in like the later end of my cycle. So how could I possibly be ovulating if it's not on like day 14? And we're in the 20s now. So in October, I told myself, okay, once my period ends, I am every single day, because here's the thing with testing for ovulation. You cannot do it just once in a while. You have to do it every single day in order to find out when you are ovulating. So every single day after your period, you have to be testing. Excuse me. And sometimes you have to test 2 times a day. So that's what I told myself I was going to do. I went on Amazon and I bought the strips, and I was like, I'm gonna do this every single day. Lo and behold, I did have a peak in LH, and it was around cycle day 21, which is a lot later than what the typical ovulation peak would be. So I was like, oh, okay, like this is cool, because it was matching up to the symptoms I was having as far as my like discharge went. I will say though, during my cycle where I am ovulating, I am not one of those women who feel sexy, whose sex drive increases. I'm not. I feel bloated, which is another thing that confused me, because I was like, this just can't be right. I'm not feeling what every other woman feels. And I remember my sister being like, stop comparing yourself. You're having the symptoms, which is the most important thing, which is the discharge, and you have a positive strip. Like, chances are you're ovulating. So I was like, okay, yeah, you're probably right. So again, for me, my personal experience, I don't feel sexy. I don't feel my sex drive higher. I just feel bloated, dischargy, and a little bit like grumpy. But that's because it's so close to the end of my cycle to where my new cycle is about to start. I think that that's why. So in my experience, I ovulate very close to when my period is about to start. As of right now, my period is supposed to start actually like right on Christmas Eve, which, like, thanks universe. So we'll see if that's true. But the really cool thing is, so that was last month. I got the positive LH strip on cycle day 21, I believe. This month, I got a positive LH strip on cycle day 22. So, like, it's right there. It's matching up, which is, like, crazy. Like, that is such a big non-scale victory for me. The fact that my body is being consistent and, like, consistent in, like, the same time frame. Like, that's so cool to me. And I'm doing it without, like, supplements. Like, I haven't been taking my vitamins, which I know is really bad, and I know that's why I'm losing my freaking hair. I need to get back on some. And I have not been good about taking my inositol, and, like, it seems like my body has finally figured out how to regulate, because especially last month, my period lasted basically 4 days. It hardly was heavy. Like, it felt like a normal period. We'll see how, this month's period goes. And I feel like last month, I feel like October's was kind of similar too. Like, not super heavy, didn't last very long, came around the same time. Like, I'm so happy. And it's such a non-scale victory, because, like, I won't lie, I'm struggling a little bit with my weight right now. Like, I just cannot get out of the teens. This morning I was back up to like 215 something. Which also is another thing I notice, like, around period time, around ovulation time, is I hold on to my weight. And then usually, like, the week I get my period is when I have, like, a decent drop in weight. Hormones, man, they're fucking crazy. But it's just so cool that my body is, like, doing, at least I think, is doing what it is supposed to do for the first time, I feel like, ever in my life. And I was talking to my sister about it yesterday, and, like, it's just so crazy to think where I was last year, like, especially at this time. Had just gotten married, was so uncomfortable, overweight, still on my birth control, miserable, like, wondering what 2024 would look like. And here we are, almost out of 2024, almost 100 pounds down, regulated my cycle, I think ovulating. Like, it is wild how much can happen in a year. I still have a long way to go, but I am so proud of where I am. I am definitely going to continue with the ovulation strips, because it is just interesting, and it does correlate with what my body is showing me. Eventually, when I get my Aura ring, whenever that is, it'll be interesting to see my body temperature as well, if it is rising and dropping around the same time I'm getting the, you know, ovulation strips or the positive ovulation strips, and also like the symptoms that I'm having. So it'll be cool to kind of have everything like coming from every direction to, you know, solidify if I am actually ovulating or not. And yeah, so if you're on this journey, especially to help with fertility in the future, like, please don't give up. I am so proud of where my body is currently. And again, none of this is even a guarantee. You know, like, even if I am ovulating like a normal human, it's not a guarantee that pregnancy is going to be an easy thing, or that I won't have fertility issues, you know, down the line when Tim and I begin to try. Like, there's so many different factors that go into everything. But this is a very positive thing to be happening, and a very exciting thing to be happening. And it didn't happen right away. Once I got off my birth control, it did not happen right away. It took a while for my body to figure out how to regulate my cycle. And I really think obviously losing the weight has helped tremendously. But that also took time. Everything hand in hand took time. So if you are on this same journey as me and a lot of other people, please do not give up hope and give it time for your body to kind of regulate, especially if you're getting off of birth control and losing weight and all of that stuff. It takes time for your body to kind of figure itself out. You know, I've been on this for over 10 months, almost 11 months, and I feel like finally, just within the last few months, my body has kind of caught up to what's going on and what's supposed to be happening, and I'm very proud of her. Good job, buddy. Very proud of you. So that's just my experience and my non-scale victory of this morning. I've had 2 consistent positive LH strips just in the same time frame of each other, and I think that is so incredibly cool. So I hope everybody has a great Thursday. We're almost to Friday, which means we're almost to the weekend. Thank goodness. Which also means we're almost to Christmas. So I need to get on doing my shopping for Tim, because I have not done any so far. Here's your reminder to try to get your shopping done if you celebrate.